Hello, Braves Country. It's Coach Ken Anderson coming to you for Hardcore Braves, and we're coming to you after another series loss. We are now 2-9-1 in the last 12 series. But you ask me why I'm happy. I'm gonna go around the horn. We had a 3-3 road trip, so you know what? We asked for at least a 4-2 or 3-3. I don't know how they got us there, but they got us to a 3-3. Let's take the 4 days off, boys. Go fishing. Go to the beach, do what you got to, clear that head, and let's come out against the Rangers on Friday. But before we get started on how that happened, let's go around. Here's Rhino, my main man. How you doing tonight?
I'm pretty good, buddy. I don't know how we won even a game this series because we played like such utter crap. So for us to even just get the series finale, we're still 2 games up on the Phillies. I will take that, and hopefully we get some resemblance of health heading into the second half, and hopefully they figure out how to hit a baseball because this is not fun right now.
No, the team just really can't get going. They for the series, they were miserable again with runners in scoring position. 3 for 20. 3 for 20, 150 batting average. Andrew, though we went 3-3. Andrew Davison joining us tonight. Hot Atlanta Highlights. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, Ken. Thanks for having me on.
It's good to have you here, man. So we're going to do all y'all ask us today. We got a bunch of texts and DMs. Yeah, we're going to do a recap on the first half. So we're just going to kind of go through the series. They look like a walking team dead. I will say this, Ryan. I was so mad at them. It looked like they were sweet walking. I think Walt gave them a little thing. Hey, let's buck it up at least one day here today because they had a little bit more emotion today. They looked like they were trying to. I mean, they were up. They were going for it, and even to the point that there were a couple hand pumps in there. Ryan, we looked like we're sleepwalking the series. A little more emotion today. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean they weren't. Game one was weird, right? You got into like 4 or 5 innings, then you had the rain delay that took utterly forever. Like I didn't even watch it after the rain delay because I went to bed, and then you had game two, and like after game one, Yaz went on the IL, so that's just another kick in the nads right now for an already depleted offense. So I can understand them being just utterly defeated. Like we can't catch a break, and they like you said, they slept walk through the second game. And then they came out today. I think Wall kind of kicked his foot up their rear ends a little bit and said, "Hey, we got to finish strong. You know, the Phillies are right on our asses, and if you guys want to get into the playoffs, we're going to have to actually play good baseball to get there." So they played better, but it's still not good enough to get to the postseason. The Braves need some reinforcements. So, balls in your court, buddy.
100%. This is a team, and one of our followers sent us a thing. This is a team that can get there. They just need a little push over the edge. I think also that it was good that the Phillies started before us, Andrew, almost an hour before, 45 minutes, and they were already up 5-0. I think that encouraged the boys to better bring your best game today. A little bit more energy in the yard today than it was the first 2 games, didn't you think?
Yeah, it was. And, it wasn't a typical day for Tarek Skubal up there in Detroit versus the Phillies today, was it? But it's good to get a win right before heading a little bit of a momentum into the All-Star break. Like you said earlier, get some rest, go fishing, go to the beach, spend time with your family, recoup, come back ready next week, ready to go, and then get back on track.
Yeah, I'm already excited. I think the Wise must have went with them to St. Louis. Every one of their IG posts today, and Andrew's on IG. He's a big one on IG. Was them with their Wise. That's good. So their Wise will make them feel better the next few days. So let's get into it. Game one. Oh, what a funky game. And it's horrible because I think Chris Sale was finally going to shove 7 innings, Ryan. He looked great. 3 innings, 5 strikeouts, pounding the zone, and the rain hit. I think Chris looked like he was fixing to give us a gem. How about you?
Yeah, he looked a lot better. He was pounding the strike zone. He wasn't missing too much. And I think he had like one walk, but he even was like really pissed about the one walk. So you could tell he had his A plus stuff. He's commanding the strike zone, commanding his stuff. It was the fastball had really good life. The slider was breaking off in their rear end, and he was even using his changeup pretty effectively. And he was mixing in the two seamer as well to lefties. He looked really good, had good command and good stuff all 3 innings. Really unfortunate about the rain because we really needed Chris Hill to throw 7 innings for us that game. And I think that's another just one of those moments where it was just like kicking the nads to the guys, and they're just like, man, we just cannot catch a break. Our ace is on the mound, and now we get him rained out. Now we got to try to figure out how to win a game at 1 o'clock in the morning or whenever they resume play. So, really tough game one, man.
Now we got to talk about it on the last recap, me and Ryan, and we're like, "Hey, where did you keep this Medeiros kid?" So Andrew, we ain't got your feelings in there. He comes in after the rain delay and he throws absolute gas, 99, 100. He throws a 92-mile-an-hour cutter, 90-mile-an-hour changeup. I think this kid's not going back down, Andrew. I think he's going to be in this bullpen for a little bit, and I think our Cookie Carrasco days are over. What do you think, Andrew?
Well, we spoke on this on on the series recap after the Pittsburgh series because he finished the ninth inning, if I'm pretty confident. But man, did he look good out there? I mean, 99 with a cutter, and then he's got a good slider. I mean, how do you not have him on this team going forward? I mean, see what he can get you going back and gaining some confidence because this bullpen really could use another high velocity guy. And Misteros, sorry if I botched the name wrong. That kid can pitch. I don't know where he's been in AAA all this year, but man, that was a really good sign to see going into the second half of the year.
Yeah, yeah. We talked, me and Ryan, we loved him from the get go. He did it from like the third pitch. He texted me and said, "My Lord, this guy." Ryan, we'll get to the other guy. I think Alex has been hiding. He come big in game three. But are you kind of glad we probably seen the end of Cookie Carrasco in Atlanta?
Yeah, I don't know why Cookie was even a thing when you had 100 miles an hour down there just waiting for him to come up. I mean, look, I know that the walks were probably an issue. I think that's the most case with those guys down there. But at the same point in time, his stuff's going to play a lot better than Cookie Carrasco. I mean, he throws 100 with a 92-mile-an-hour cutter. You got to give that a shot at some point to see if he can throw strikes. And he's looked really good so far in his first few innings up here in Atlanta, and I don't see him going back down anytime soon. I mean, if he tries to send him down, he's going to be fighting, kicking, and screaming to get back on that plane to go to Gwinnett.
I agree. So, not a lot of talk offensively. We'll just get how the game was lost. Riley does get a big single there and gives us the lead. They are able. Jordan Walker, guys. Cardinals got a couple of guys they can build their team around. Walker and Weatherholt are the legit deal. But they tie the game, and I felt bad for Danny Young. He comes in, he throws the ball good, and then he hangs an off-speed pitch to a bad catcher in Crooks, and he hits the ball. I don't really know how he hit the ball at the ballpark. The painful thing is the at bat before Ryan. At the top end, Harris hits one. I don't know how that ball doesn't get out at 106 miles an hour. And then Crooks hits one off, looks like off the end of the bat at 102, and he gets out of the yard. I want to tackle the funny balls. We haven't done that this year. They keep talking in baseball that this ball is a hitter's ball, this ball is a pitcher's ball. I think we finally had evidence of that in those two swings. What do you think, Ryan?
Well, I mean, you even saw Ronald comparing the baseballs in the dugout a couple months ago when he was still with the team. That little meme that was rolling around, but it's a legit thing, man. This has been going on now for 7 years, going back to 2019 when you had the Super Balls. Can we go back to that real quick? It's already hard enough to hit. Let us have some fun. Let's hit some bombs, dude. Let me tell you, that was one of the best MVP races. I know I'm getting off track a little bit, but go back to the Super Balls and stop fooling around with, well, what do we have better? What's our audience better with, the pitcher's balls or the hitter's ball? Like, just let the ball fly out of the ballpark. It's so much funner. And let me tell you something, pitchers. You have every advantage in the daggum book. You throw 99 with a cutter and a sinker and a changeup. If you can't spot it and you hang it, the ball should carry out of the ballpark. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Andrew that. I'm with Ryan here. The pitchers now are so tough. Let's just have hitters baseball. So if the hitter does finally square a ball up, it should go out of the yard. What are your thoughts on that?
I was not a pitcher. I was a hitter. Um, Pitchers should know how to pitch, and if you can't locate, good hitters are going to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and that's what your result should be. The baseball, we texted this, Ken. The baseballs are so messed up right now. I don't know what else to say rather than just that. I mean, go back to the Ronald meme, of course, but baseballs, if you can't locate a pitch, it's going to get hit hard. Um, it's just it's got to get fixed. Something's got to. We want to. We as baseball fans want to know something about it, and it's been like Ryan said, 7 years since 2019. It's time to learn something about that.
Yeah, my biggest thing is I tell Rod Manford that you're going on the borderline. Some cheating could go. A home team can find a way to put the hitting balls in at the right time. Let's just put the right balls in there and fix that. I know they said it got a bad batch and are waiting to catch up. Throw that stuff out. It's got time to get up. So we lose 2-1. just a miserable game. We stayed up to 1:15 our time to watch it, most of us, and that was just I didn't even have the energy to do a recap because there was nothing to recap except it was a miserable game. And if Chris Sale would have got the pitch, we'd have won the game. So we lose that one. I do agree with Ryan. I think then we get the news that Yaz, and it looked like in that game his shoulder did look like he was kind of sore. I think that's all it is. It's what they're saying, soreness. So hopefully he won't miss nothing but the IL time. And I think, like Ryan said, I think the guys, they just walk through this game. They get beat 4-1. And I just think that it's what can keep going wrong. Why do we got to keep having injuries? Because Yaz is probably one of the guys getting the hottest right now, Ryan. And you could see it across their faces. Like, you can only beat a dog so many times where they finally go get in the corner and just want to sit down, right?
Yeah, I mean, Yaz also had the big grand slam back in Pittsburgh, but that's when me and you thought, like, all right, that's when it's going to get the ship sailing in the right direction because that was a huge momentum swing. And then you get that dude, and then you had the rain delay, and then that dude goes on the IL. And it's like, what else? What else y'all got for us? Because it's just when it rains, it pours, and it feels like it's never gonna stop pouring. But there is always a light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully Alex provides that coming up here in the next week or so. Because let me tell you, if there's a team that needs an early trade, it's going to be the Atlanta Braves. They need some early reinforcements. Look, I know trades don't normally start flying until the end of July, but you got to make something happen. You can't. No offense to Hicklin, he did great in Game 3. You cannot rely on Brewer Hicklin out there. I'm tired of watching Eli White be a starting outfielder. No offense, Eli, you're a good bench piece, but you're a bench piece. I'm tired of watching you swing the bat. We need some hitters in here. At least one or two right now. Even if they're role players or platoons, you got to get some better sticks in here. We could at least use one pitcher right now, something to help change the mojo. But I'm just beating a dead horse that everybody hears. This team needs something. They need help because they just can't keep going this way.
Yeah, we're going to get that in our recap. We're going to try to kind of see where they're going to go. I will say we'll get to Game 3 about Hicklin. I got something to say about Brewer there. So I'm gonna go to you on this, Andrew. I'm done with the Jorge Mateo thing. Jarvis has done everything he can do. That's a play that my high school shortstop's got to make. And I'm just telling you, he's got to make. And to me, is lackadaisical going after the ball. Now, look, he did not hang the pitch that got hit out of the ballpark. That's on Raylo. But Raylo threw the ball good again. That's really good. Sell and Raylo both threw the ball well. And then the guy who threw the bulk innings today, he threw the ball well. And another guy in this game throws the ball well. We'll get to that. But Mateo's play, when your team's already down, just lost, yes, I think that was the death knell in Saturday's game. What about you, Andrew?
It felt like it was going downhill after he made that error on the first play of the game. It just didn't feel good. And, after his little 1 week hiatus in Cincinnati, Mateo's been just as bad, if not worse, than Ha-Seong Kim. And I think it might be time for the Braves to kind of, until Ronald comes back, at least Jarvis has to be the everyday shortstop. We can't be giving innings to Jorge Mateo anymore. His at-bats are affecting his defense now, it looks like. And he can't even really almost hit the ball right now. So looks like some decisions need to be made coming up soon. And I think he's got to be one of them that gets the hook.
Yeah, and I didn't like his route he took in the Mets series when he went in left field either. So I'm ready to go. Let's go to the guy the next guy who shoved. Lopez threw the ball well. He's getting close. I don't know if we'll ever get a starter out of him, but as far as postseason starter, the 4 or 5 innings, I think he can do that in a spot. But Owen Murphy, the kid, everybody's been high on him. I wanted to see him. I liked him in the 10th inning. He was thrown in a bad spot. 3 innings, 3 Ks. Yeah, his fastball plays, don't it, Ryan?
It plays, but I continue to say, I don't know how long it plays in the league at 92, 93 until he develops his off speed a little bit better. And that's the same thing that we've been saying about J.R. Ritchie, but J.R. starting to develop that curveball, as you can see. That's why he's starting to get better. That's why he's throwing more effective innings. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Owen Murphy. I would like to see him start one time just to see what you got, see how his off speed plays over the course of 4, 5, 6 innings, and not just, oh, here you go in the 10th inning, don't give up any runs, please situation. So Yeah, I mean, that's what he is. He's a starting pitcher. He's one of your top prospects. Just see what he's got, and you have a better idea if you do that going into the deadline, whether you want to move him for a piece or whether you want to keep him as a future piece. So give him a start, give him 2 starts. I mean, God's sakes, like he can't do much worse than what the rest of the rotation has been doing here lately.
Yeah, I think the cool thing is I think I like this Richie and Murphy throwing. If they can throw enough in there, let's let Waldrop go get healthy down in Gwinnett. I like it. Waldrop, we all know, has been rushed up a little bit. As far as the hitting, Andrew, there's a bad game. 6 hits. Dubon does hit a home run. Lackluster. So offensively, we just didn't really mount anything. And me and Ryan have talked about it. I'm so tired of Matthew Liberatore owning us. Andrew, here's your chance. Matthew Liberatore is Sandy Koufax when he pitches against the Atlanta Braves because the Braves refuse to hit the curveball. I'm going to be Ryan tonight. I get tired of this. Andrew, what do you think about Matthew Liberatore being the next Sandy Koufax if he can face the Braves 30 times a year?
How about that? Send him to Cooperstown. We couldn't hit a hanging curveball to save our life. I mean, if you were to tell me he'd throw a beach ball up there as a hanger, I don't think we could touch it. I mean, I don't know what it was. It looked like, for my day and age, prime Clayton Kershaw. That's my generation's Sandy Koufax, and it looked like Kershaw. That's really all I have to say on that. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and here's the deal. Me and Ryan talked about it today. There was only one curveball that was really good. It was the first one that he threw Michael Harris that had depth. Nobody could hit that. Ryan, go ahead. It was just bad. It was bad.
Yeah, I've never seen so many middle hanging curveballs in my life get swung right through, and not just like swung through, but were laid on them. Like how
Yeah.
like Austin Riley didn't even swing the bat till the ball was almost in the glove, and it's not like it's 98 coming through there. It was 80 miles. I could have hit that, chat. I would have hit that breaking ball probably in the gap easy. I can roll out of bed and hit that pitch. Okay, I don't know how the Braves they just rolled over and played dead in game 2. Like we said, it was not very good. It was so bad that I turned the game off and went back out because I was at the Gwinnett Stripers game. Shout out, go Stripers. And watched Rowdy Tellez hit big boy bombs, and I watched Jair Camargo hit one off the apartments. That was a whole lot more fun than watching the Atlanta Braves, Ken. I'll just keep it a $1.10 with you.
Yeah, Gwinnett had a good series this weekend, so good for them. They played well all weekend, and shout out to the Stripers. They play hard. There's not a lot of guys down there probably going to play Major League at this moment, but they keep playing like that, somebody will pick them up. Game 3, we finally showed up and got energy. We did a weird thing. We threw Danny Young, which is fine. Me and Ryan don't like the opener, but he went out and did his job, what he could do the best he can. But I love the way Richie threw two walks in 4 2/3. I'd like that to be a little lower, even that, but look, it's getting better. Andrew, he really saved the game for us. He really did. He pitched well enough to keep us in the game. The offense could put some runs up. We did. We were able to work and get singles. We'll get to the big play offensively right in the middle of the game that gave us the lead. But what do you think about JR throwing today, Andrew?
I thought JR was really beneficial for this team, and I think when you look at some of the hits that we got later in the game, I thought JR in his big 4 innings was really big, and the reason why we won the game today. Sure, I'll give him the 2 walks. That's been better than what he's been giving us, in maybe the past couple of his outings. But JR was huge for this team today, and I'm really excited to see JR, what he can do for this team coming out of the All-Star break.
Yeah, and Ryan, I understand why they're trying to do is let him just kind of relax. I love the fact that he went and warmed up and sat down like he had just warmed up to start the game. Try to get him used to settling down. JR was pretty good. The curveball was a lot better today, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, the curveball is really developing into his out pitch. I know CJ said he doesn't throw it in the strike zone much, but when that's your out pitch and your chase pitch, you probably don't need to be throwing that. And breaking balls in the strike zone, per se, I don't necessarily love that because they normally get hit pretty hard. Unless, of course, you're the Atlanta Braves and Matthew Liberatore's on the mound. Then you can't hit the daggum thing if it was placed on a freaking tee. But look, his sinker had really good run. He had good command of the sinker today. He had his slider was a little bit better. His changeup, I like the depth on his changeup today. He just couldn't locate it. That's his big key for me. If he can really turn that into a good out pitch against lefties, then you got the hook against righties. You got a little slider against righties. He could really turn into a solid number 3, number 4 starter. But as you can see, it takes time for these kids to develop up here, but you are seeing progress, and that's all I can ask for. And he was absolutely huge for us today because, I mean, we didn't really have much of a bullpen left at this point. So him coming out there and throwing almost 5 innings and only giving up 2 walks where I didn't have to pull out the rest of my hair was really nice.
Yeah, he threw the ball well. To CJ's point, and this is a young catcher learning. We got on to Drake last, and he's going to learn. If you got a 3-2 pitch, Drake, and this guy throws this in the zone 34% of the time, and this pitch 58% of the time, you've got to call the guy because you can't walk him there on a 3-2 curve, and he can't backdoor. He has trouble, and he can throw the sinker on the hands of that left-handed bat at his hip. He's pretty much going to probably get a ground ball. Hopefully Drake will learn that. I know Eddie Perez worked with him, but enough of that. Big play how we took the lead. Austin, we've he's that. But one thing Austin's done is the rest of the game has not suffered. He had that one little glitch where he had bad defense for like a few days out in San. But other than that, he has played and he runs the bases better than I've ever seen him run the bases. And he scores on a base hit by Drake Baldwin, and he's one of the most beautiful slides you've ever seen scoring, Ryan. And that was a big, big play. And I thought initially he might have been out too, but then you saw the replay and you saw, man, he was clearly safe. It was a big hit by Drake, who's been struggling, and a big, way to run by Austin. What were your thoughts on how we took the lead there?
Big hit for Drake. First off, my God, it's thankfully he hopefully is turning it around because we need that bat going. But big hit for him and good jump on. I mean, I think it was 2 outs. So Riley had a good jump off the crack of the bat, and the slide was the key. He was able to maneuver the tag and get his hand in there, which if you guys have ever slid before, it's very hard to do those athletic slides. I know these guys make it look extremely easy. It is not to maneuver your body while you're doing that, and because everything's bang, bang, you got to make those and split decisions while you're doing it. So very athletic of Austin Riley to do that. And also, good job, New York replay review. You got one right for the Atlanta Braves because you never, ever do that. And I'll be honest with you, it was pretty daggum clear that he was safe. As soon as I saw the replay, I was like, oh, he's safe. They never got the tag on him as his little sliding that came across. So good job, New York. Proud of you.
Before I ask you, Andrew, about this, New York should just watch the field because when all the Cardinal players went back to their position, and they're telling you he's safe, so they're watching it, so they know themselves. All right, here's the deal, Andrew, on this. So we get the lead 3-1. Dylan Dodd he's owned this. He's 32 days. He's been perfect almost, and it was probably coming, and he just could not locate his cutter. He couldn't do it. He could not throw it for strikes, Andrew. I know Braves country lives and dies by every pitch, every game, and some of them threw him under the bus. I have no concerns about Dylan Dodd. If he only pitches one bad time a month, we're probably going to be okay, Andrew. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that statement pretty well. I mean, didn't we say a couple weeks ago on the state of the pitchers pod? If you haven't checked that out, guys, you're going to want to listen to that one. Didn't we say he's fifth in left-handed relievers and ERA or something like that? Dylan Dodd's been nails, and it just wasn't. Today was not the day for Dylan to have an implode, but man, did his teammates back it up for the rest of the game, and he had one bad outing, guys. It's okay. It's going to happen. If he has it once a month, we're going to be just fine because the rest of our bullpen is nails.
Yeah, and to his point, Ryan, Didier was one pitch away from saving his butt and holding the lead. He actually threw great, and he missed one location. And you got to give the Cardinals Fermin Fermin to the Cardinals is what Dubon is to the Braves. He hits in clutch situations, but Didier actually threw the ball pretty well today, didn't he, Ryan?
Didi threw the ball well, but here's what I'm going to say. Drake, honey, I want you to pay attention real quick, okay? I don't give I almost said it. I don't give a crap if it is the backup catcher hitting for them. You do not throw 5 fastballs to the guy in a row, for God's sakes. If you are, you better throw that thing up and out of the zone, but then guess what? It's 3-2. Guess what's coming? Fastball. So you take a chance with a 2-2 slider and you throw it out of the zone, because if I'm not mistaken, it was like the 2-1 pitch. He smoked it foul down the right field line. So you got to change something there. It's just your pitch calling's got to get better, honey. It's got to get better. It's been very noticeable for the last couple of weeks, and I'm tired of watching it. So I don't know if Eddie Perez needs to go sit you down or if the other catching coach needs to sit you down and tell you how to call a game, but it needs to change. There's no reason why we should have been throwing 5 fastballs there. There's zero reason why. And I very much remember there was another catcher that everybody crucified when he did that, and he is with the the Sacramento A's or West Coast A's, whatever you want to call them. But that's got to change. That's my only problem with that whole situation. I think if Didi throws a slider right there, Fermin can't touch it, especially if it's a good 2-strike one, and then you get out of the inning and you're still up 3-1. So self-harm there, but the Braves overcame it in the end, thankfully.
I will say this, and we're going to move on how they won the game. It's the hardest thing for young catchers to learn, even at the high school level. That's why we usually have to wait to senior year before we let them call games. Is knowing, and the only way they learn is to make mistakes, and it's harder to do on the major league level. So this is where we miss Sean Murphy. Drake probably should just be DH and letting Sean teach him in the dugout why he calls pitches, but we don't have that, so Drake's got to learn. All right, that's how we won the game. 9th inning, Michael gets hit by a pitch. New York said it hit his arm. He wears this white guard, so it's really hard to tell. So I'm going to go with them because they have a lot different angles than we can see. I don't know what Oliver Marmol. He must have had dinner already cooked in the Cardinals bullpen. I mean the dugout because he wanted to get thrown out for some reason. And Dubon comes up, and he had terrible bats all day. Ryan, I was getting frustrated because Mauricio did. But you put 2 outs and people on base, and Mauricio turns into one of the best hitters in baseball, and he hits an absolute P that for some reason Mason Wynn stays back on. Thank you, Mason. We love you now. And then he has to throw fast because he realizes Mauricio's busting his rear end down the line. He overthrows it. We take the lead. Like you said, it was kind of a gift from God right there. We needed the win, Ryan. You just want to take the play in its conference, and which part do you want to pick? There's a lot of moving parts in that to give us the lead.
Well, first off, good sell there, Michael, because I'm not so sure that they played you, but you sure convinced New York, and that's all we needed. So thank you, Nork. That's twice, man. Twice in one game New York helped us out. God bless. That's unheard of. But, yeah, it was a routine ground ball short. And Ken, I told you this earlier from Dubon that I was screaming I'm not screaming, but I was yelling at the TV saying, Dubon, if you have one more shit at bat, I'm coming through the screen and I'm tearing you a new one. But and you still had a terrible at bat, but the guy who was playing defense at shortstop fell asleep and forgot how to field a routine ground ball, and you were able to beat it out. So good hustle down the line, even though you had a crap at bat. And thank you, Mason Wynn, for gift wrapping this W for us because we so desperately needed it. Thank you very much, sweetheart. Your contributions will be remembered for the 2026 World Series campaign for the Atlanta Braves. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot of good stuff happening on that play for Braves, so we'll take it. I can't believe they won 2 challenges. Anything on the last play, Andrew, you want to speak on?
Mason, thank you, Mason Wynn, for standing up, throwing the baseball. Thank you, Mason Wynn. I was an infielder, so I've made that mistake before, but I clearly saw when he even threw it that he stood straight up and lost all of his athleticism. So thank you, Mason, again. We will remember this play for the rest of the season. But great by Dubon. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, you put the ball in play and see what happens. And if Mauricio just half-asses his swing, probably just misses it. But he puts a great, decently contact swing on it, and he just runs down the line. Great job. We got lucky on that play, and that's all I got on that one. So,
yeah, so it's a good thing. We got to win, so that's what we'll take. A lot for both teams to go over with their players. All right, how it ended, and we're going to get to the MVP and the play of the series, is our bullpen's lights out. I'll speak to that. It was a good thing we had Dylan Lee could go 2 innings, and Dylan almost got through the 2 innings. He should be an all-star. Michael Harris should be an all-star and be in New York. Sad they won't be unless somebody backs out late tonight, which we don't feel like they will. So that's okay. Dylan will go fishing, and Michael will go hug the newborn baby. They'll both be okay. And Kenley come in, got a big strikeout in that inning, and Iglesias was nails again. And so we got the win. So let's go MVP play of the series, Ryan. What is your play of the series?
My MVP is Mason Wynn for throwing the ball away. I will forever remember that contribution this year. And you're my MVP, Mason Wynn, for throwing the ball into the stand. So Mason Wynn gets a double dosage for me today, Ken. We appreciate your contributions, buddy.
Yeah, we all ought to go buy 0 jerseys because he helped us stay 2 games up. Andrew, MVP and play of the series.
MVP of the series, Matthew Liberatore.
Yeah, he's good.
Or excuse me, Clayton Kershaw. But Matthew Liberatore, you got us again. You own us now. Then most valuable play, I would say. Oh man, Dubon running down the line.
Yeah.
Hard. We needed that big time. And Dubon's effort caused Mason Wynn to counter off of what Ryan said, caused Mason Wynn's error.
I like it. Everybody said, well, he's supposed to, but not everybody busts it down the line. I've been angry over my coaching career because they won't get it down the line. So that happens from the time they're 9 years old to 90. So I'll go MVP of the series is I'm gonna take the MVP of the series as a kid we didn't talk about. This one I'm gonna take Brewer Hicklin. Brewer coming up and having that double to give us the lead, I think giving that tackle and run was huge. Also, I think to Alex, why do we keep holding guys like this down like Medeiros and Hicklin? They're obviously better than Cookie Carrasco and Jorge Mateo. Even Jarvis looks better than Jorge. Brewer was having a monster year, 300 average, 16 home runs, 55 RBIs, and good for Brewer. And hopefully, if it's not with us in the future, maybe he'll get a shot somebody because he's better than what some people are rolling out there in the MLB. As far as the play of the series, I'll surprise y'all left it with me, but I'll take it. The rain. Because I don't think the Cardinals win the series, and I think the whole thing changed when the rain hit because we were fixing to win that first game. And the Cardinals had just lost 4 out of 5, and I think it would have affected the whole series, and you might would have got your sweep, Andrew, because I think it turned the whole series around. So that's Mother Nature, and we should have reacted to it better, but yeah, I hated getting Chris Sale off. So no preview tonight. We're going to get 4 days off. You check out the preview and the hip coil coming on later on this week, and we will do the Rangers thoroughly. I know Ryan's going to be pumped about that because it gets all new pitchers. It feels like we've been in the same team every night, every weekend. Me and Andrew have talked about the same teams. That's getting nauseous. I'm ready to talk different teams. We get the Rangers and the Padres, so good stuff. So we're going to do a first half recap. This is where we're at, boys. 55-40. 2 games up on the Phils, 4 games up on the Marlins, 3 in the lost column, 5 in the lost column. And my friend Jason Reeson, if we lose this game, we'll be tied in the win column. I said, Jason, forget about the win column. This is where the point, we're close enough to 100 games, you just start looking in the lost column. Because that's all that matters is the lost column. Because once you lose it, you can't go win it. You can always go win it and catch the win part up. You can't catch the loss part up. So, they're okay. We get through a first half, but they're 3.5 behind the Brewers, and me and Ryan really want them to catch the Brewers here, and I think the Brewers are going to allow that to kind of happen. Mizrachi, I think it's just a start or pitch in the All-Star game, but it's weird how the Brewers handled him. They already lost Woodruff, so we'll see what happens with the Brewers. Overall, your first half impressions and where we sit right now, Ryan.
Look, if you would have told me we would have been at our win and loss record currently and 2 games up at the All-Star break, I would have taken that every single day and twice on Sunday at the beginning of spring training because you didn't know what we were going to do. But as the season unfolded and we got off to such a hot start and we got a 10, 11, 12 game lead at one point, and now we've kind of fallen back down. It's kind of very irritating and it puts a little sour taste in your mouth. But, I understand that we've had injuries. I understand that we've had some underperformance. But at some point, something's got to change. And I just don't feel like Alex Anthopoulos has done his best job running the pitching staff in this first half, especially in June and early here in July. So, overall, it's I'm happy with the overall performance, but I'm very disappointed how we finished the first half, Ken.
As Ray Stash on Twitter said, he put it out. If you'd have fell asleep on March 31st and woke you up today on July 12th, and you'd have looked at the standings, you'd have went, "Well, that's a hell of a first half the Braves had. Man, they're good." Didn't know any stats or anything, Andrew. What are your feelings on the first half? 55-40, and they're 2 games up on the Philadelphia Phillies.
I'm kind of the same way with Brave Stash. It was a good first half, great start. Not the best finish that we could have had, but that's why you play 2 halves in a season. This is why you get 4 days off and to recoup and regroup and to rebound. And this team is too talented to keep struggling the way they have the last month and a half, and it's time now down the stretch to rebound. And I believe we have the talent and the guys and the locker room to go out and get back on a hot streak. I'm not saying we're going to play like we did the first 2 months the rest of the way, but I know that they can play a lot better than the way they have, and I believe they will very soon.
It's interesting because I was talking to one of my good friends, a Georgia Tech guy who's from Philadelphia. He said both teams can look at it, Ryan. They can both be mad or both be happy. This tells you what kind of personality you have, because the Phillies can look at it and go, "Can you believe we have played this well since May 1st and we're still not in first place because we played this crappy to start the season?" So if you're that kind of person, you could be mad if you're the Phillies right now, a fan. I think both teams fans need a 4-day break, and then they can all get back and say, "You know what? This is kind of where we thought both teams would end up. Let's see who goes." Ryan, before we get in how we got there, what if you were AA right now, how would you feel about the team before we get into the kind of moves? How would you think the team has performed in the first half?
Overall, I think I'm like, well, this team has definitely overperformed, but I don't think it's to an extent, and I'm meaning that because Dom Smith's had a really good first 2 months. Jorge Mateo had a ridiculously good first 2 months, but you also have the back end where you had some serious underperformance. Right, Cam was horrible. Austin Riley's been horrible. The pitching staff injuries, the pitching staff has been really down. So if I'm AA, I'm like, okay, I need to go get a couple arms, and I need to go get a bat or two, and I need to revamp this bench a little bit. And I think that is very doable at the deadline. So I am very high on where we are at right now, considering with what we had rolling into spring training with all the starting pitching injuries. So I'm feeling pretty good about it, and I'm going to go attack this trade deadline.
So Ryan, Andrew, he's saying, hey, he's probably looking at it glass half full. He's got a chance to go win the division. Or you thinking AA is looking at it the same way?
I completely agree with Ryan. I wouldn't say anything differently.
Yeah, so here we go. This is how they got there hitting wise. OPS, they're 14th in baseball. That tells you how bad they were, because they were first in baseball on June 8th. They're now 14th, 722. They're 8th in homers, 121. They were second forever in homers. The power went down in June. Walks, they're 27th. They don't walk. But you know what? They don't strike out. They're 8th in baseball in strikeout per game. So that tells me, Ryan, are you seeing the same thing? Is we're not putting the bats we should. We are, bat to ball is probably decent, but we're not driving, and it really pivots. Like, we're not trying to pick on you, 2-7. 2-7s at bat show it the most, where he's not driving to where you need to go. So even if he connects it, it still don't go out of the ballpark because he's not fully in giving himself up right there to go the other way. Ryan, are you seeing the same thing in the hitting numbers?
Yeah, Austin Riley's kind of the epitome of what the Braves offense has been in the second part of the first half, I will say that. So you have pretty good at bats, right? You get into a 2-2 count, 3-2 count, and then you chase one out of the zone, and for Austin, he'll swing and miss and strike out, or you roll over it to shortstop, or you get a fastball right down the middle that's belt high, and you pop it up on the infield because you're in a little bit of a slump. You don't have your mechanics going the way that you want to. Your bat path's a little bit off. You're gaining ground towards the pitcher, your hips sliding, your head's moving, so the bat doesn't meet the ball the way you want it to. So, yeah, I mean, overall, I feel like we should have more walks because we've worked counts pretty decently, but we're not connecting the same on the barrel because it feels like we've been hitting with pool noodles for the last 6 weeks, and we haven't been striking out, which is always nice. But at some point, we got to start hitting the ball harder. I'm not one for say, oh, we need to walk more. No, I don't think we need to walk more. Our at bats have been good, but we need to start hitting the baseball a lot harder, and I think that'll level this back out.
I think to Ryan's point, Andrew, Ozzy's bat late in the game was the prime example where we need to be. And Ozzy knows it. He's the leader on this team, by the way, him and Matt. But Ozzy's most. So Ozzy has a 3-2 pitch that he swings, and the ball's going to hit the ground. Hits a line drive foul down the left field. He hits pitches I don't know how anybody hits. He hits his leg and yells, fudge, or something like that. And you can tell he's mad. And then he takes a 3-2 pitch up here that barely clips the zone for strike three. He challenges. We lose a challenge. I don't blame him. That's a great challenge right there. It just barely hit it. But that's epitome. I think Ozzy's telling everybody, the Braves are talking about it. It's knowing when to take. And those 3-2 pitches that are almost hitting the ground or way outside, we got to let them go. And I think the Braves will be a little better. To Ryan's point, I don't think we need to walk more, but we need to be very selective when we get to 3-2. And so I don't really look at the walk rate, but what I look at is in 3-2, let's have a little bit better plate discipline. How about you, Andrew?
Yeah, I can't disagree on the plate discipline. We got to be a little bit better. And we know Ozzy throughout his career, he's sometimes always had these funky swings, but we know just as the team as a whole, they got to be better with the plate discipline. But to Ryan's point, we got to hit the ball. We got to hit the ball harder. If we're not going to strike out, we got to find a way to hit the ball harder. And go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, the key to that is watch Matt Olson swings. Matt Olson hits the ball hard, even hits a ground ball or something, because he's always trying to hit. He's Freddie Freeman all over again with more power. He wants to hit the ball the other way. So let's go to the pitching side. We just think the pitching's all bad, and it's crazy how we got here, but it's not. ERA overall, fifth in baseball, 3.60 ERA, seventh in WHIP, 1.23. It's really, the starters have struggled a little bit, especially lately. Eighth in baseball, 4 even ERA, 15th in WHIP, 1.31. Where are we good at? The bullpen. Bullpen's first in ERA, 3.06, first in WHIP, 1.12. Those numbers tell us exactly where we're at, Ryan. If we can find enough starting pitching, this pitching staff can be one of the best in baseball, correct?
No doubt about it. That's why it's got to be priority number one. I think with the offense that we have currently, Ronald's coming back soon. Praise the heavens. He's going to be starting a rehab assignment soon. Thank God. So you're getting that big bat back in the lineup. So my priority number one would be pitching. Go get 2 starting pitchers. One of them needs to be a postseason starter, and the other one needs to be an innings eater. I don't care what innings eater you get. Get one of them. And then you got Perez coming back. You can let Waldrop finally get healthy down there, and then when he starts looking cute, you can bring him back up. Same with AJ Smith-Shawver. Then you can bring him up when he starts looking cute again. Then you're like, oh wow, we got some good pitching depth. Our pitching looks a lot better. And when you have good pitching, your offense can be horrible, but you got a chance to win every single night because you got good pitching. So starting pitching needs to be priority number one. Bullpen's been fantastic, and we praise them all the time. Bullpen's been great. I can't look, the bullpen, I got on y'all's rear ends last year. Y'all have been absolutely phenomenal, and you're the reason why we are where we are. You've been the one constant we've had all season. So little tip of the hat to you guys because you've been so daggum good for us, and you don't get my blood pressure up late innings. So Ken, I can't complain about them, but I will get on the starting pitching because the last 2 to 3 weeks has not been cute for us.
The one thing Andrew, though, does say is we do have a lot of people. Perez, Suarez are coming back. AJ Smith-Shawver maybe a month from now. A lot of people we can throw at it. Are you with Ryan? Do you think starting pitching is the number one thing that AA needs to look at the trade deadline?
Yes, and I believe exactly with Ryan about one postseason guy and then an innings eater. I don't care who it is. Go get an innings eater for which that's what they need, and then we'll see where to go. Where we got to go with the offense. That's something where we can go. But to Ryan's point, we need 2 starting pitchers.
All right, guys, I'm going to put you to it. This is the hard question. So If there was one trade, who is it that can go to right the ship and it'll beat Philadelphia? Now, look, me and Ryan spoke on this. We were talking earlier today. You can look at it different ways. Somebody right now to finish the ship, somebody in August to clean it up and get us to the finish line. Your definition of getting right can be different. So we're not going to hold anything, but who's the one guy that you feel like if we go trade and get this guy, this is the guy that come October 1st, we're like, that was a big time trade. He helped us win the division, hold off the Phillies. Ryan, all right, here you go. You get to play GM. Who is that guy?
I have two of these trades, man. But I'm gonna
Let's
say
go.
I'm gonna say one. I'm gonna say
Okay.
one. All right. And this is to right the ship right now because I think you can go get these guys right now. Go to Colorado, give me Willie Castro, and give me Senzatella. Even if Senzatella is a 4 or 5 inning guy, or if you want to put Grant into the rotation again and he gives you 3 or 4, then you bring Senzatella in for 2 or 3 innings and then you can book that back to the back end. There's your number 2 starter until you can find one. And then you get Willie Castro. He can play literally everywhere. He can play outfield. He can play anywhere in the infield. So you're getting your Mauricio Dubon back that you have been missing. You could put Dubon at shortstop if you wanted to. If you got Jim Jarvis, who's looking kind of cute, you can put him out there. You can platoon Dubon and Yaz. You can give some guys some days off. I think Willie Castro, and he's had like 720, 730 OPS. He's had a 270 batting average with some pop. We need that. I think if you get that versatility that you can play around with, you can put that bat in the lineup every single day, and he's going to give you a little bit above average production. I like it. And Senzatella's throwing 96, 97. You get that coming out of the bullpen as well, or you can put him in the rotation for a few innings if you want to. That's the trade I go make right now. That gives you a little bit of reinforcements. It gives the guys a boost. And I think that'll get you to the trade deadline where you can make the really big move. That keeps you afloat, and then you go strike in August.
I like it. It'd be a great trade. And I think the Braves fans, some of them would say, what are we doing? But the rest of them would be like, yeah, okay, we see what we're doing. We're trying to right the ship. And so Ryan's saying we need to right the ship and then go get a move. Andrew, what do you think is the move? It don't have to be somebody right now. What is the move that's going to put us over the top in your eyes?
The move that's going to put us over the top and ride the ship into October and through October is Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan is the bona fide number 2 starter that this team could really benefit from going into. He's pitched really well. He's such a great number 2 starter behind Chris Sale. You go game 1, Chris Sale, Joe Ryan, number 2. But Ryan went 2 players. I'm going to go add a second one. And it doesn't have to be right now, like you said, Ken. I'm going Spencer Steer. That guy's got some pop, around the 770 OPS play or area. The guy drives and runs. He's kind of like Dubon. He can play all over the infield and he can play in the outfield. So the Joe Ryan and Spencer Steer would be my guys to go get.
I've been saying it for all my friends remind me. 3 weeks ago, I sent it out. Things that I was hearing, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to say it's go to the Reds. And I'm going to do like Ryan. I think we can go get 2 right now. That complicates it with Adola going to the IL, but we haven't been known to trade and get guys on the IL. Eddie Rosario. I would go to the Reds and buy right now Spencer Steer and Nick Lodolo and bring them in right now. Steer helps calm everything down, and Lodolo, when he gets back, will give you another arm to go. So I'm going to go that, and I think it rights the ship. And then you can still go add Sonny Gray or one of the big arms to be the game 2 starter at the trade deadline. So me and Ryan kind of align, different teams. I think Ryan's is the easiest to get done right now, but we'll see. All right, so we got to make prediction time. It's an easy question. We're going to start with Andrew on this one. Do we hold off the Phillies, and do we catch the Brewers, or do we totally collapse and don't even make the playoffs? That's basically what's going to happen. The National League is loaded. So, yeah, we're 2 games up on the Phillies, but here's the deal. We're not – Marlins are the last wild card, or near the last. I think the Cardinals might be now. I think 5 games up or getting knocked out of the playoffs. So it's close. So are we going to collapse, or are we going to win the division, hold them off, get a wild card, or catch the Brewers and become the number 2 seed, Andrew? What is your prediction?
We will win the NL East, and we will catch the Brewers, and I'm confident in that because we're sooner than later, we're getting Ronald back. And I think Ronald's going to be hungry, And I heard someone else say this on TV after the game today, and I'm going to say exactly what they said. We have to assume and hope Austin Riley turns it around. We have to hope and assume he turns it around. And just based on the talent that we know Austin has. And I'm going to put that into perspective. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to assume Riley is better in the second half.
I'll say this: if I told this to Ryan, just me and him talking, we like to shoot the breeze a lot. If the Braves pick up enough hitting and Austin becomes the eighth best hitter, he can play defense like Brooks Robinson, we'll be okay as well. But that's an AA's got to go make moves. All right, Ryan, prediction time. Where you got us?
Ooh, it's tricky, man, because I think if Ronald comes back and he's even just 2025 Ronald when he came off the IL, if we get that production out of Ronald, I think we hold off the Phillies. I don't know if we hold. I think we still make the postseason. I don't know if we hold off the Phillies if Ronald's not Ronald. So I'm going to be positive. I'm going to say we hold off the Phillies because Ronald is going to be on a Ronald-like tear in the second half. I don't think we catch the Brewers though. I just don't think. I think the Brewers got too much pitching because I know they had Woodruff go on the IL, but it's the Brewers, man. They always find these little guys at the deadline, or they always have them in the minor leagues, and they just come up and they can just pitch, man. They just pitch, and that's the one thing they've always had is they got a good bullpen, they got a good rotation, and their scrappy offense figures out how to win ball games. I don't know if we catch that, but I think we hold off the Phillies and we get in the wild card round, Ken.
Both of you are kind of in the same line. Need something to happen. You want Cunha, he wants Riley. I'm going to say, for me, it's tough. It is really tough when you make a prediction. I'm going to say we're going to win the division and hold off the Phillies. The Brewers may be a little tougher. I will say if Ronnie or Austin get hot down the stretch, we will catch the Brewers. If they don't, we won't catch the Brewers. It's all going to come down to that. So we'll see. That's our predictions, and that's how we see the things. So let's get out of here. Final thought on the night. Andrew, what you got?
Get some rest, boys. Second half's coming up. We start off with two good teams. It'll be very important to get off the break really in a good spot. Hope our 5 all-stars that are there right now in Philly have a good time. Enjoy, but to the rest of the team, enjoy time with your families. Relax, get right, do what you got to do, and but come ready to play. By next Thursday, be back in baseball mode. Come Friday, and then roll into Friday night. It's go time.
Like it. Rangers and Padres, we can do us a big justice here by beating the crap out of them coming out of the break. That'll make the Rangers and Padres sell, right? So I'm all for coming out hot. What's your final thought tonight?
My final thought is I appreciate the Stripers for having us out for the Braves Influencer Night. That was really fun. It was fun to get to meet some guys. Second part is go enjoy the All-Star break. Get away from baseball. Except you, Austin Riley. You need to get in the daggum batting cage, man. I know you've been in the batting cage, but you got to change some stuff. We got to change some stuff in the cage, man. That leg kick for you, get rid of it. You got no feel for it. You got no rhythm with it. Get rid of it. Get with Chipper. Figure out a toe tap. Figure out just a stride like Kyle Schwarber has. Hint, hint. And I think you can have a really successful second half because your head's moving too much. Get in the cage, get with Chipper, figure it the hell out over the break, but do enjoy some time with the kids and the wife, and don't worry about whether you're going to figure it out or not. Do your work, but go enjoy the off time because you need it. So that's my final thought.
Yeah, we'll see what Anna wants to do. See what happens with Austin. My final thought is this, guys. We're excited. We just had our draft. I'm excited. I don't care about what ESPN says. Never have, never will. They have biased reporting. Don't go with that. So we're going to bring a guy on here and tell you how we really did. Matt Powers from Battery Nation is going to come on. I'm excited to have Matt on here. He will break it all the way down, and he will tell us all 20. He'll go through them and let you know how good they are and where they are. I'm excited. I think it's perfect draft class for what we need. I disagree with ESPN. And I do agree with all the pundit. Now, look, it is got a lot of there's a lot of leeway here. We got a lot of high upside pitchers that could fail, and we're taking some college bats that we need to really step up and do some different things. So we'll see. So catch that. That'll be coming out probably Tuesday morning of the All-Star.
You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.